The voicemail, 30 telephone calls. Go through the apps on the telephone. The speaker, the cell phone. I feel it is a grand and glorious step forward. It is a great invention and discovery. I feel that we're using only 10% of its capacity. There's things in there that we don't know that we could be used and could be helping. And after that, to keep up with the email, after that, to keep up with YouTube. Facebook, Twitter. To keep up with the U.S. mail. To keep up with the articles and they advertise them, read them to you and paste them into the log. Oh, I forgot to tell you something. I forgot to tell you one of the most interesting parts. Madeline took a picture of Glendora lying on the stretcher bed, and Glendora is still wearing her pink fedora, and she's in the, and Madeline takes the picture, and she sends it to YouTube. And oh, by the way, Glendora reports, "Hi folks, I'm at Albany Med and this is why," and so forth. It was like 2, 3, 4 minutes. The next morning, Glendora gets a call from Stephanie Pardo down in New Paltz. "Are you all right? I heard you were in the hospital." "How?" "YouTube." An hour or two later, she gets another call from Susan McCormick down in Hastings-on-Hudson, Westchester County, just above the city of New York, Manhattan, and she's seen it on YouTube. Isn't that a riot? Isn't that funny? Where else are you behind? That's way behind the advertiser. And this is up to date. This is called Soul to Soul. Caring and sharing. And making the goal of 100% loving. DC TV is no longer a problem. Karen Beasley, the program director at DCTV, and Robert Jackson, the electronic whiz, have worked it all out, and Robert follows all of her instructions, and Karen approves the programs, and they go on in the nation's capital, Washington, D.C. Very important place for the message. When all is said and done, what really matters is how did you treat others. The Dropbox. I want to call my dear Gary C. Black. Gary C. Black's email is garycblack@outlook.com. Guess how I got that? Guess how I'm using it? Gary C. Black, lookout.com. That's how I got it mixed up. So that's going. Next is the museum. Big report there. Again, that indefatigable Madeline Chapin went over to the museum and cleaned it up as best as she could from all those mice and all of those mice droppings and all of the wetness that came in. I guess urine and feces, but it wasn't that bad, I guess, because she's got it all cleaned up. And put things back in boxes. There's tremendous damage. There's a lot of the papers there, the logs and the legal papers, and I don't know what else. All chewed up by the mice, and they make the most beautiful nests. You have to give them credits. I would like to lie down and sleep in it myself. They make the most beautiful nests. They turn everything to confetti, and it just looks so comfortable. And I told the owner of Reliable Storage when I called up there and thought of getting another storage container other than the trailer, the museum trailer, 55-foot storage trailer, the Glendora Franklin Museum for the Preservation of the Pro Se Public Access Record, newspaper record. I said to the owner, Reliable Storage, I don't understand it. For 40 years, I have used mothballs as a deterrent of the mice, and it has worked. And she said, this year they're wearing masks. So Madeline thinks the museum just about done. She wants me to buy plastic containers, and of course she's right. I've been using cardboard boxes that copying paper comes in. And we looked into it, and they're really expensive. But she says one will hold 3 times. Well, we'll just keep looking into it, that's all. And how many boxes are in there? How many drawers of museum file are in there? There's 6 in a row, 6 in a column, and there's 46 columns. 460 plastic boxes at about $20 a piece. Now the interesting thing is that friend Pat Nichols-Sarr said to Glendora about the museum and getting it cleaned up, I will pay for it. I said, Pat, you can't do that. She says, yes, I can. I've got money and I've saved it up and I can do it. You know, boy, how could I do that? But I was ecstatic for the love that she showed. So I went to Robert Jackson, and Robert Jackson was about to make me the forms, print from his computer, the forms for a renewal of the program to be on LT's Cablevision. And he had to, his printer broke down. 89. And so he had to get a new printer. And I said, Robert Jackson, wait a minute, just a minute. I would like to buy you an Epson printer. It's the most beautiful machine. It is so expert and it's so beautiful. And I say, you can get one for $50 brand new, because they're making their money selling cartridges. Are they ever? $60 for 4 cartridges. But the work is beautiful. It is beautiful. And I would like to have you, I would like to call up Staples, and this is the wonderful thing about Staples, and order it to come overnight. You'll have it tomorrow morning before you go to work, because you go to work at noon. Well, that's very nice of you, but I couldn't do that. That would have taken away my hesitance about taking Pat's money. Well, it didn't happen. And Robert has friends who have an account at Costco, and he got one at Costco, a Hewlett-Packard. Bill Gates. So that's the drop boxes. What's the drop boxes all about? I don't know, but it's something about a shared drop box from one computer to another. Gary Black shares it with the TV station in Groton. Robert Jackson shares it with Gary Black. Robert Jackson sends Gary Black a file of a chat with Glendora TV show with the message, when all is said and done, the only thing that really matters is how did you treat others. And then Gary Black can send the TV show by computer to Groton, Connecticut, to Mount Vernon, New York, to Highland Park, Illinois, to Los Alamos, to Boston, to Hartford, Connecticut, to Trenton, to Los Alamos, to Portland, Oregon, and to San Jose. Excuse me, San Jose, Robert Jackson takes care of. San Diego. Do you know that would save Wendy 36 DVDs to make? 36 DVDs to make? What do you think of that, everybody? And that, I don't know whether it's moving or not. Hey Google, call Gary Black, speakerphone. Hey Google, call Black 2, speakerphone.
Calling Black 2 on speakerphone.
Good for you, Google. Did you have a nice weekend? Did you go to church yesterday, Google? It's ringing. You can hear it, can't you?
Hello?
Gary C. Black.
Yeah, how you doing, Dora? How are you today?
Oh, you darling man. Oh, I'm fine, and I am so grateful to our Lord for you, dear.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm actually right in the middle of an issue right now. Can I catch you later, or?
Yes, I was just wondering how you're coming. Is it moving?
Some of the places, I'd say like about 2/3 of them have the show.
No kidding, Gary. Do you mean it? You have magic fingers. You say that 2/3 of them have a show?
Well, the show, yeah, because Robert posted it and stuff, and I placed it in there, and I got a response back. But
Oh, Gary.
on,
You're terrific. Well, let me let you go. I know you're in a hurry. When can we talk again, honey? Give me a good time, please.
Probably later, because I gotta have a busy day today, so it'll be sometime late this afternoon, maybe.
4 o'clock. 4 o'clock?
Sure. Let's say 4 o'clock.
Bless your heart, Gary.
Okay.
Gary Black. Bye-bye, honey.
All right. Good. All right. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Oh, you don't know what that means. You know that this has been going on for 2 years? And it cost me $45 a month, and nothing's been being done. You know, no show is going anywhere for a whole year at $45 a month. And then I had to pay $120 for Robert Jackson's Dropbox. Bless your heart, Gary Black. Where is he? He's in Buffalo, New York. Actually, Hamburg, New York. So, and then the museum, we brought that up to date for you. And then there's always the errands list. And I've forgotten what's on the errands list, and I've forgotten it up here too. And then what? Well, that is the Holy Agenda. You've heard it. Now, what's on for challenges? No. Okay, challenges. No. What's on for details? There's a closet out in the hall, and in that closet there's a box of things that came from the museum that dear Michael DeMond brought over, and it's never been processed, that box. I wish Michael DeMond would come back and we'd start over again and not have the ugly ending that we did have. All right, there's that detail. And then there's finding out, you know, my dear sweet Franklin, my connubial joy, my conjugal bliss, my husband for 48 years, was in World War II before Pearl Harbor. He enlisted, I think, in August 1941. And then he went all the way up through D-Day, across France, across Belgium, and into Victory in Europe Day in June 1945. 5 years. Now there's some kind of a survivor's benefit for that. The poor ones who didn't survive didn't get the benefit, but the poor ones, no. And it's something like $1,250 a month. Do you think that Glendora is entitled to that? Anyway, to make out that form. And what other detail is there? Go through the microcassettes. I love microcassettes, but they jam. So many of them have been ruined because they jam. Well, maybe not ruined. Maybe they can be reactivated. And go through the brand new digital audio recorders. There's 4 of them. We need one for Bible and hymns, one for words, one for jokes, and one for the log and the telephone calls. Wendy could do that. It's just that we're so slow. 92. 92 burp. What are you thinking about? The receptionist who called us from the gynecologist's office. Unfortunate, but we will take her with us, and we will show her how to drop self and just love the world, love everybody, love God. Won't we? Yes. Okay, what else? Now, besides the Holy Agenda and the details, you have a thing called challenges. And the first challenge is to find a good assistant. I still don't have the assistant I'm looking for. I want somebody who's fast, who's good on the cell phone, who's good on the Hewlett-Packard. I need somebody who's good that I can teach the editing to, who's good at the correspondence, who's good at telephoning, who's good at record keeping, who's good at going through the think folders and seeing what has to be done to the day and making sure it's done, at paying the bills. All those things that we just listed to you. I wish I could find that angel. Oh, you know something else I didn't tell you? After that experience at the hospital and about this great big cyst that's in the abdomen, I don't feel as long about my life as I used to do. I think it could be over very shortly. Before I was thinking, oh, maybe you go on to 100 if you do things right. But I don't think that's going to happen now. I think I have much less time. Much less time. Christian Science doesn't even pay attention to that. They say that we are immortal. We're eternal. For sure, we know that this physical part recycles, just the way everything else recycles. It goes back into oxygen, carbon, and nitrogen, and hydrogen. It's a great system. And that spirit, it must go somewhere. I mean, it just, doesn't it just show up, pop up somewhere else, in something else, in a flower? Well, we don't know how it's done, the miracle. But never mind, it doesn't make much difference. Oh yes, the third thing is the challenges. Number one challenge is finding that assistant, that good assistant. I wouldn't even hope to find somebody who can carry on. That just never works. It just doesn't work. And number two is complying with the owner's wishes that Glendora have 24/7 care. I think I can do that. I've done 3/4 of it already. 3/4 of the time somebody's with me. And I've showed her good faith, and I've told her that I think it's a good idea. I think she's right, even though I was horribly opposed to it when she brought it up. And so that she has a good idea there, and that I can do it with given time. It costs a lot of money. I mean, it's cost $200-300, all these ads and all this and that. All this time. The time is about, must be up to 75 hours by now. So that's number two, but that's done. So number two is empty, challenge. Number three is making it to the top as far as loving goes. The thing that we've been talking about all morning. That's number three. And passing the message along. After all is said and done, the only thing that really matters is what? How do you treat others? Number four is the computer phone. That beautiful handheld computer. And loving it and learning its ability and being its friend. Number 5 is the county burial. I want to be buried by the county. The county will pay for it. $1,250. And I think Pat and Esther and Mr. Mooney, the funeral director, all have so efficiently and kindly got that into works. I think Pat's going to make a copy of the many papers we're going to send. She's going to make a copy at the library because my F's in the moment I'm not operating right. And 93. I think that's, and we're going to send it to sweet Chris Rio, who brought us through all this and told us how to do it and was so patient and enjoyed the jokes so much and has beautiful, infectious laughter. And so that's number 5. Number 6 is these renewals. All the people in Nyack, Rockland County, are missing the great message. The thing that will bring them happiness, they're missing it because the program's not on Altice cable TV because of a foolish frivolity called renewals or getting a renewal anyway. It just doesn't make sense. And it's not on because of not getting, because they changed the system. It would have been on. We used to have the application by mail on paper. Now it's going to be on computer because of the virus, and it's not done yet. And that's what Robert Jackson bought the printer for. And likewise, it is not on in the great whole Norwalk, Fairfield County, wealthy Connecticut area because of this frivolity. And it is not on in Litchfield, Torrington, Connecticut for the same reason. Let's see if Robert Jackson's got in. We can dial Robert Jackson on the landline. Just a second. One, two, three, four. Everything's by Braille.
The time is 8:48 a.m.
We can't come to the phone right now. But if you were to leave a message and your number...
It may be too early because he works until 1 a.m. Or he gets home at 1 a.m. Robert, grace and peace unto you from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. Sorry about not having talked to you lately, but do I ever have an interesting tale to tell you. And I will defer that until we are together on the phone. But this little bit of news I can tell you, I just called Mr. Black in Buffalo, and he says about 3/4 of the TV stations have a show. Isn't that glorious? What I hoped